Hello, welcome to Old Nerd Reads Marvel Comics in Order. This is episode 122. This time I read X-Men 104 via Classic X-Men number 12. The reason I do that is because some of these earlier X-Men issues I either am missing because they're expensive, or I have them and they're in not really good enough. I don't want to handle them any more than I have to shape. So what I do instead is I substitute these classic X-Men until I get probably through, like the Claremont Burn run anyway. I'll probably be doing the classic X-Men, or at least until classic X-Men continues, or at least until classic X-Men quits doing the second story. Uh, that's what I like about classic X-Men. They always had a supplemental story as in addition to the main comic that they reprint. For those of you not familiar with classic X-Men, this started in '86, I think, '85. Uncanny X-Men at that time had gotten super mega popular, so they started this title and reprinted everything from Giant Size X-Men on. For a while anyway. This title went for quite a while, but it only stayed in this original format for a couple years. I think just through the John Byrne stuff, probably. I'm not certain on that. But what I mean is they reprinted an issue of X-Men. This one reprints 104. They get a new cover by Arthur Adams. You see here he's doing an homage to Dave Cockrum's original cover. You got artwork inside the front, or on the back of the front page, called a frontispiece, also by Arthur Adams. This is Magneto's return to the title. This issue is after a bit of an absence. Plus, you got the table of contents or the credits here, and so you get, and this story often, especially these earlier ones. This is number 12. Especially these earlier ones, Chris Claremont changed a few things, kind of like George Lucas did with the Star Wars movies. He made some changes, and sometimes like brand new pages. This is definitely not Dave Cockrum, these two pages. So like that would happen sometimes in these, and oddly, they don't always credit it. See, just two pencilers, Dave Cockrum and John Bolton. John Bolton did the second story here, but that's what I mean by this format. And it had back cover art too by John Bolton, who draws the backup story. So this was the original format for several years. New cover, artwork on the back, artwork on the inside covers, two stories, and possibly some retcons or new material added to the original reprint. And once it quits doing that, which it will here, I don't know, a couple more years worth of these. I think they keep this up. But once it gets to that point, I'll switch over to my main Uncanny X-Men for the purposes of this video series. This issue picks up where the last one left off. X-Men are still in Scotland. They just got done fighting Juggernaut and Black Tom Cassidy at Cassidy Keep, Banshee's castle, which he just inherited. Now they're trying to get back to New York. They want to get out of Scotland. They're trying to get this hovercraft, but they're getting hassled because they're mutants. But they end up getting the hovercraft anyway, and I guess the captain was right because that's right. They're heading to Muir Island, Moira McTaggart's island, where she has her research medical facility, whatever it is. And it's a good thing the captain. Well, I mean, the captain was right in not wanting to rent his hovercraft out to a bunch of suspicious-looking mutants because, of course, they're going to get attacked by a supervillain, and his hovercraft is now destroyed. And here we have a couple pages that I'm pretty sure were added for this copy. This edition does not look like Dave Cockrum at all. And no credit given, so that's strange to me. But here we're back to Dave Cockrum. Here we get our first little glimpse of Magneto. He's on Muir Island waiting for the X-Men. He kind of goes into a little bit of backstory here for him and Professor X and Moira McTaggart. They were all friends at one time. And Professor X and he had a falling out over mutants and humans and their treatment of them. The X-Men get on shore and are attacked by Magneto. Look at that full pager right there. See that's great. Dave Cockrum can really do some great stuff. And shame on me for not realizing it back in the day. I think he did a good enough job when I was a kid getting this title. I wasn't a Dave Cockrum fan, but at the same time, I couldn't deny that reading these old issues of the X-Men were an awesome experience to my 11, 12-year-old mind. We find out that Eric the Red is working with Magneto. Not only Eric the Red, but Havoc and Polaris, who Eric the Red brainwashed into joining him to take on the X-Men. Magneto pretty much makes short work of everybody. Wolverine's got the metal in his bones and his claws, so he's nothing. Colossus is, of course, made of steel, so he's nothing. He's able to generate magnetic fields that take out Storm. He pretty much makes short work of the entire team. Now, the backstory for Magneto at this point is that in the past, he'd fought the X-Men and he was turned into an infant. Let me see. Did I go past the page where that's described? Because he was somehow turned into an infant, and must be I haven't gotten to it yet. He was somehow turned into an infant and kept on Moira McTaggart's island in her medical facility. And Eric the Red, I believe, or something, I forget. It's in here. Where the heck is it? Why can't I see it? Oh, right here. See, he'd been turned into a little kid, so he was no longer a threat to the X-Men. He was no longer a villain, but he was kept there. And then he's restored to adulthood and at the peak of his powers. And he wants vengeance against Professor X and the X-Men. So he's kind of surprised when he sees that these are the X-Men and not the team that he is used to fighting, the original team. But anyway, the X-Men have to make a quick trip back to New York. And what was it for? What was the reason? They've got to get back and warn Professor X that Magneto's back. He's that big of a threat. Like, Scott was really worried. Cyclops was really worried. He came all the way from New York and basically rescued the team. He was able to knock out Magneto. The rest of the team couldn't. But since he knows Magneto's back, he rescued the X-Men. Now they're hightailing it back to New York to warn Professor X. Even though Professor X has psychic powers and probably could read their minds. But anyway, they're regrouping. And the team is mad at Cyclops because they were ready to continue the fight with Magneto. And Wolverine here, he's mad because now they look like wimps, I guess. And but that doesn't matter. We've got to let Professor X know. So they're out. Now here is Corsair and Chodo. What's his name? Chod? I forget. But this is the first Starjammers, I think. Isn't it? Pretty sure. Papa Rick, help me out here. And here's Princess Lilandra. She's been in Professor X's dreams over the last several issues. And now she's finally coming to Earth. And that is what Eric the Red is trying to prevent. He is working with the alien race that Lilandra is a member of. And she's a princess in exile, I believe. She needs help from the X-Men or Professor X or something. So she's heading to Earth to get them because like her brother, I think, is forming a coup against her. And her her brother is working with Eric the Red to stop Lilandra when she gets to Earth before she can meet the X-Men. So that's what Magneto's there for. Polaris and Havoc, they're all to prevent this help coming from the X-Men to help Princess Lilandra and of the Shi'ar people out in space. And the second story, another John Bolton masterpiece. This guy's such a fantastic artist. But this is just like an origin story of Magneto. It goes into he was a prisoner of the Nazis, a Jewish prisoner of the Nazis. He met his wife in the concentration camp. They escaped and were able to start a family, start a life together. They moved to the Ukraine, actually, to start their own life there. And immediately upon arriving in the Ukraine, they're met with a bunch of bad people. Magneto's young daughter is burned alive in a building because Magneto isn't able to rescue them. The villagers stop him from doing it. The law stops him from doing it. And he's just, this triggers his mutant powers. I think he kills everyone with his mutant power somehow, but his daughter's burned up. His wife, just seeing what he's done, is terrified and leaves. And he wakes up, and this must be this story happens shortly after the contents of this issue. Must be after fighting the X-Men in Scotland. He must have moved on to Paris because that's where he is when he's sleeping and having the dream. But then he wakes up and there's a place right across from his hotel room that's on fire with a woman and her young daughter, and he rescues them, even though they're humans. So we're setting up Magneto to be the good guy that he is in the real time of the X-Men world. So since this was 1977, this story came out this reprint came out in 1987. So this came out 10 years after the original story was published. And in that time, Magneto has taken Professor X's place and is the leader of the X-Men at this point. Or he was, not too long before this. So Chris Claremont was showing his backstory and showing that he is capable of good. So, oh yeah, and I don't know if I got a really good look at the back here. Magneto rescuing the humans. So that's X-Men 104 via Classic X-Men number 12. Any other old nerds out here remember that issue? Comment down below. Share my video with any other old nerd out there you think would enjoy this. Leave me a like. Subscribe if you haven't. Stick around for more of these videos. I got a long ways to go through my collection, reading it and doing a video on each issue. So stick around for more. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.